It's time
This is a good opportunity for us to get together.
to propel our industry into the future.
We love wind!
This is Generation Wind at Windpower 2016. Hi everyone, I'm Ed Highland. This is Windpower TV, sponsored by GE Renewable Energy.
And I'm Kimberly Bottom. We are thrilled to be here in New Orleans where the next phase of wind energy is being ushered in. Windpower is bigger this year with more attendees, more exhibitors, and more education sessions. Don't worry, bigger doesn't mean more complicated. In fact, AWEA worked to make the conference easier to navigate. Education is located right on the expo floor, so any attendee can stop by the education stations and Thought Leader Theater to network and learn. Plus, a simpler registration process makes getting involved seamless.
The registration process this year was really easy. They emailed me, I believe it was yesterday, so I could add a badge to my wallet, and literally all I had to do was just like boarding a plane, scan the QR code, and they printed out my badge.
Cutting-edge technology is always a focus at Windpower, which is exactly what you'll get to see at the GE booth.
In 2016, we have a new suite of apps that go along with our digital wind farm that essentially enhance overall production and output of our customers' wind farms and enable them to have overall more profitability for the lifetime of the farm.
Don't forget to stop by the AWEA booth near registration to make sure you're getting the most out of Windpower, and keep your pulse on the latest in the industry with AWEA.
I'm joined now by Tom Kiernan, who is the CEO for the American Wind Energy Association. Tom, great to see you, and everybody's excited to be here in New Orleans.
It's great to be here in New Orleans, fun city. We brought a lot of people. Actually, this year it's interesting. Windpower has grown dramatically. We're bringing a lot more people to Windpower because the wind industry is on fire right now. A lot of development ongoing. As folks that are in the industry know, we've got some solid policy support. We've got a 5-year trajectory. We're hiring people in the wind industry and making more clean energy for Americans. It's a good time in the wind industry.
And I know a lot of attendees are going to be very excited about seeing the very latest technology that'll be on the show floor.
It's exciting on the show floor. The wind industry has been cutting costs by increasing productivity. So a lot of our turbines, the blades, the software are all seeing dramatic improvements, and that's what's going to be on the show floor. People are going to be able to see that new technology that's bringing reliable, increasingly really affordable wind energy to Americans, and that's what you get to see on the show floor.
Tom Kiernan, thank you so much once again for joining us.
Great to have you guys here and great to have all the visitors with us here in New Orleans.
Education began even before the exhibit hall opened with AWEA's pre-conference seminars. From the first site-specific models to real estate rights and long-term project values, the Wind 101 and 201 pre-conference seminars covered the wide-ranging needs of attendees, from the basics for beginners.
They go a lot more in depth with a lot of the policy and financing and a lot of it that I don't really get into with what I'm going to school for, so it is a good informational session.
To tips and tricks for the pros.
What we're doing is we're talking about long-term value. What are the things you need to do early in the process, midway through the process, and later in the process to help those projects preserve their value?
AWEA is focused on the next generation. That's why they're holding the Wind Energy Educators Workshop. It gives teachers everything that they need to inspire and excite students about the power of wind. This fun and interactive event let kids go hands-on with activities that explore the science and engineering around wind power. From grade school to high school and college, every level of future wind professional was engaged at Windpower.
Well, I think it's a clean way to create energy, and I think it's really cool of all the time and effort that everybody puts in, all the colleges and all the education that it offers, so I think it's awesome.
AWEA leaders were hard at work before the conference started with a full day of meetings with top companies in the growing wind power industry. It was a chance to map out strategy to take beyond this week's event.
We're now the incumbents, and I think as the incumbent, we're supposed to be the ones that are leading the energy industry from a from a resource industry to a technology industry. That's what we've demonstrated, that we're economic now. So to me, is making sure that we stay that way and deliver on the promises that we've had to remain economic. Because as long as we're economic, we're the fuel of choice. And I think we're the fuel of choice now, and how do we continue to be?
Wind farm developers learn how to engage their communities by engaging with each other. In this session, TED Talk style presentation showed what can drive a community to support or reject a wind farm, like political leanings and perceptions about noise, Then small groups form to create strategies and messaging to answer questions, face challenges, and earn support. Political engagement in the wind industry is also extremely important, and that's where WindPAC comes in.
Well, WindPAC is the political action committee where we raise money from our member companies, and then we are able to support our congressional and state candidates who support wind. We also now have a new website that is live that you can donate. So it is very, very important. The wind industry wouldn't be where it is today unless we can support our congressional champions who support us.
Well, as you can see, the party is just getting started here at Windpower 2016, and we want to hear about your experiences.
Be sure to post your status updates, pictures, videos, and use the hashtag #GenerationWind. And of course, tune in every day for Windpower TV. We'll have conference highlights.
For Windpower TV, sponsored by GE Renewable Energy, I'm Kimberly Bottom.
And I'm Ed Highland. We leave you now with some of the sights and sounds from the welcoming reception.
It's all about building a stronger and a clean energy economy to be more resilient and to be more reliable.
This is a fantastic group of people that get together, and we can do a lot of networking and a lot of information exchange with folks that we normally don't see on a regular basis.
And I'm joined now by Ann McEntee, who is the CEO of GE's onshore wind business. Ann, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thrilled to be here.
Great. Well, tell us a little bit. You had a big development this year. You acquired Alstom Renewable Energy. How's that been going?
Look, it's been going great. When you look at Alstom Wind, what it's brought into our portfolio is actually 2 new renewable energy segments. We traditionally at GE had the onshore wind segment. Now we have a new offshore wind division as well as a hydro division. Ultimately, wind is mainstream, renewable energy is mainstream, and so now it gives us a real business in which to grow. We have one of the largest, most diversified portfolios in renewable energy, so it's exciting.
Great. Now, last year we heard a lot about the digital wind farm. What's new for 2016?
Oh, in 2016, it comes down to bringing more apps now to the digital wind farm. So we're launching 5 new apps that really focus on bringing productivity to our customers, real top-line enhancements to help to generate more power output, which ultimately means more profits to their overall businesses.
Great. And then here at AWEA Windpower, I know you guys are a big sponsor of KidWind. Tell me a little bit about that.
Look, at GE, we really believe in STEM education, and we are a big sponsor of KidWind. So in the Capital District area where we're headquartered in Schenectady, New York, we actually held our own competition. So we have 3 of our teams here competing. And so, look, it's all about really nurturing the next generation of innovators, bringing technology to bear, really allowing kids to really see hands-on what it means to be in STEM fields. And I think it's an exciting place to be. So I encourage everyone here at the conference to take some time and see the next generation of talent that's going to transform our industry.
Absolutely. Well, Ann, thank you so much for everything that GE does for the wind industry, for AWEA and Windpower. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If your wind farm could talk, what would it say? Would it tell you it's feeling good, productive, that it's working at full capacity? Maybe it's feeling tired or a bit under the weather. Could it use some backup? If your wind farm could talk, would it warn you of potential problems before they actually happen? And assure you it's finding new ways to work more efficiently as you focus on other things? Would it help you discover new ways to turn wind into opportunity? Wind farms have a lot to say, and now GE is giving you the tools to listen to them. We're not just talking ones and zeros, but actionable, real-time data you can turn into physical, tangible results. The future of wind farm technology is here, and it has a lot of great things to tell you. Are you ready for what's next?
I think it's a cool coincidence that, yeah, the wind is a renewable energy, and we are harnessing the wind when we kite. Obviously, we're out there for recreation. They're out there creating this clean energy for us. It is a seamless parallel between kiting and what the wind farms are doing.
The gorge is an interesting area of the country. It has one of the more unique wind regimes in the whole country. The main driver of this flow is the interaction with the inland temperatures and the sea temperatures. And the upper atmosphere will drive wind speeds, and we're able to capture that and turn it into energy with our wind farms that are operating out in the gorge today.
The wind farm was really incredible. It was something that I didn't think we were going to get to do, and we're one of the few people in the entire gorge area that has gotten to do that.
We got an amazing tour of their facilities and got to learn a lot about wind energy and the business of wind.
The really cool thing with wind technology is the efficiency improvements. Typically, you couldn't have done that in the past because the wind resource just wasn't quite high enough to support good production.
When we got there, I didn't think I would be nervous at all, and there's 4 platforms in between each 60 feet. And it doesn't look that high in between each platform when you're inside this tube. But when I was actually starting to climb up, I started getting really nervous, and you start looking down, you're like, oh man, and my arms were like shaking and getting tired. But when we finally made it out of the top, I mean, you're so high up there and you can just see the whole expanse of the gorge, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And just something that not very many people get to do. I absolutely loved it.
Imagine if you could decode the material genome the same way you have decoded the human genome.
Imagine that you have new, better, more accurate insight into when your asset is going to fail. That's great, but let's take it a step further. Let's say you have this better information about the asset. How does that affect my bottom line? How does that affect my next quarter profit?
Imagine that you knew the failure rates of the machines that you were responsible for. This is the information that the industry has been looking for. It would be like knowing when the transmission in your car was going to fail based upon how you drive it.
Imagine having the information at your fingertips to plan for your failures or to manage your failures going forward.
Imagine being able to greatly enhance the capabilities of your current health and usage monitoring systems on your aircraft and to get 2 or 3 times the benefit out of that system from what you get right now.
Imagine a scenario where as a designer you can actually test your product before it ever makes it into production.
Imagine a world where new product innovations could be introduced to market on a daily basis rather than maybe once every decade.
Imagine you could save 50% of all your aftermarket parts. Wouldn't that be great?
Imagine you know the remaining useful life of the drivetrain component. You can now decide whether to repair the car, sell the car, or if you repair, to decide on upgraded components, buy on cost and life decision making. That is sentient science.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Bottom for Windpower TV, sponsored by GE Renewable Energy, and I'm joined now by John Kostiak, who's the Executive Director of the Wind Energy Foundation. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, John, tell me a little bit about what the Wind Energy Foundation does.
We're a national education advocacy organization formed by wind industry leaders about 6 years ago. And we go around the country and we work with business people to become more effective advocates and spokespeople for wind energy. We help them tell their success stories. And that is a really powerful tool because wind energy, of course, is delivering so many economic benefits in communities around the country. We need spokespeople. And so our work is essentially recruiting and training and then mobilizing all these business people around the country to help tell the story of wind energy. We're also reaching into rural communities, getting economic development officials, and a whole range of people, new voices into the conversation about our energy mix. And so we do a lot of trainings. We help people get effective talking to decision makers, talking to reporters and editors, and now we're working with social media, helping them become more effective on things like Twitter and Facebook.
Great, because we all know how important all that is, right? Absolutely. Well, tell me about Windpower 2016 specifically. You guys have a really special event coming up. What's that going to be like?
Yes, we have this event we're calling Mingle on the Mississippi. It's on the steamboat Natchez, an authentic steamboat on the Mississippi River. And from 6:30 to 9 on Wednesday evening, we will be convening, and it's going to be a really fun event. I hope everybody comes. We've got great music. Kermit Ruffins and the Barbecue Swingers, a well-known act here in New Orleans, is our musical act. And then we have food and drink and lots of fun and merriment. I hope people come out. We'll be doing about an hour trip up and down the river between 7:30 and 8:30. Otherwise, we'll just be on the dock. So if you want to come for part of the time, you're welcome to come.
I'm pretty sure that you're not going to have any trouble getting people on that. That sounds like a great time. So good luck with that, and thank you so much for talking to us.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
This is the generation that is going to bring those new technologies like taller towers, offshore wind, floating wind in the ocean to America. This is the generation that's going to meet our clean energy goals to combat the effects of global climate change. You are the generation that's going to make this happen.
It's good to bring jobs back to Colorado. We all know that manufacturing, factory jobs have been leaving the U.S. for a long time, and to be part of the advanced manufacturing, they call it the renaissance of manufacturing, is a big deal.
So the presence of Vestas in Colorado has been huge. As we opened the factories, we had tens of thousands of applicants for hundreds of jobs when we initially opened, and today we've got just a little over 4,000 folks in total working in the state of Colorado, gainfully employed, and everybody's excited about not only the wind business, but also working for Vestas.
Before starting at Vestas, I was actually a manufacturing supervisor for newspaper production. The company I was working for outsourced their production, and I was laid off. So when I was looking for a job, I found Vestas.
We have employees from all over, many different skill sets. We got guys who used to work on airplanes, oil workers, all kinds of pretty hands-on kind of guys.
We attract a lot of veterans, and some of it's due to the fact of kind of the background. It's a pretty good fit for a lot of guys that come out of, or even are still in the reserves. It's a pretty good fit for them, and they're pretty comfortable in terms of the daily discipline that we require in our manufacturing lines. So it's a very good fit for them, and obviously we accommodate, especially if they're still in the reserves and need time to go serve our great country, then we'll accommodate that as well.
At Vestas, there's lots of room for growth. I started here as an entry-level worker, and now I'm in charge of 80 employees. It's just an expanding company, even within the factory, within the industry. There's just lots of room for growth.
If you're struggling with something, someone will be right there to pick you up and help you out. And it makes me feel good to be a part of something like this, to be a part of something that's always thriving to be, or for something better. So it makes me feel good.